5B5, the 150 celebration committee, because I can't really say that word.
Sesquicentennial.
That's the one. Sesquicentennial.
Call it the Canada 150. Everybody else is.
150 celebration, good enough.
Do we have a motion? Oh,
It's
this
the
is on the
addendum.
addendum. Okay. Donna, you can make the motion then. Do you have a? Oh, I put her on the spot. Councillor Panasic, I saw your hand
Oh,
up.
no, she can make a motion, that's good.
I just have a couple questions
Well, you gotta-
first.
Oh,
What, how many was public at large was part of there was,
5 members.
6.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, I know that Trish put her name in right at the very, very beginning for it. As, is that right? Yeah. She sent a letter in and everything.
That was before we were in the office.
I think we actually took out an ad a long time ago too, so we may want to look back because there may have been a few others that might have gotten lost by the wayside.
I
Yeah.
can look.
I'm going to make the motion, but I see what you're saying though. Michael Smith said he didn't have time.
He wanted to be part-time on it, is what when I talked to him, I told him to talk to him.
Yeah.
But he wants to commit some time to it, but he can't commit to make every meeting, is what he told me, but he wants to be a part of it.
I just thought we had a part of the terms of reference for the sesquicentennial. It was 2 council members and 3 members at large.
I thought three council members?
3 council members?
Two and an alternate, wasn't it?
3.
We had alternate.
3 council, 5 members at large.
Was it 5 members at large? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, thank you.
Unless you want to put Trish on, like,
As an alternate?
alternate part-time.
What about that? We put Trish on if you're, and Michael as an alternate, part-time. We don't have that in the terms of reference though, an alternate member.
that can be changed.
We, obviously,
Well, I think that'd probably be fine to leave him on as an alternate. I mean, the idea is to get more public involvement and have more people stepping up and to say no to somebody who's put their name forward, that he only wants to be part-time.
if you couldn't get enough Nancy also, and that she would be interested in sitting on that committee too, so, but should be admin staff on it anyway, so. Take minutes.
So do we have a motion yet?
I'll make the motion that council appoint Tammy Kalita, Megan Payne, Noella Vandermeulen, Ken Murdoch, and Trish Olson Long to the Sesquicentennial Committee, and that Michael Smith be considered an alternate to the public members.
Comments? All those in favor? Carried.
I also have something to say on the Sesquicentennial Committee. I have been looking at my calendar and I realize that I cannot commit the time that this committee will be doing needed in the next year, and therefore I would like to withdraw from the committee and let the alternate council member Brian Gilroy become one of the council appointments.
Councillor Gilroy?
Oh, I'm all for it, but if you're coming off, do we need to appoint another alternate? Or do you switch to be the alternate? How does that work?
I wouldn't mind staying on. I wouldn't mind staying on as the alternate, but again, I can't guarantee as the alternate. But I would try to make the meetings if one of the 3 councillors is not available. But I would not want the responsibility of being a full-time member of the committee.
Okay, do we have to add that to the motion?
It should be. Either a separate motion.
Okay,
We already voted on the
it's
first.
okay. Okay, so can we have a second motion?
I'll
Mayor
make the-
Cox.
I will make the motion that Mayor Cox be appointed as the alternate and that Councillor Brian Gilroy become one of the council members on the Sesquicentennial Committee.
All those in favor? Okay,
Thank you, Brian.
CAO report.
I move that we receive the CAO's verbal and action list for information.
Brian, do you have anything to say?
A couple of things. I've tentatively set the date of our next meeting, which is March 8th, for a photo, council photo. So I'll have to get a hold of Arlen to make sure that he's here about it at 6:30. And Jody Swery will be taking the photo. You're not here? Well, we'll have to reschedule it.
The 9th and 10th?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the 9th and 10th, I'm at the Mayor's Caucus in Edmonton. So I won't be here at the March council meeting, first one.
Yeah, and I might not make it back from Edmonton depending on what time that speech from the throne ends.
So I'll schedule it for the next meeting then.
Do we have any special meetings coming up?
We have
On
a
March
February-
9th?
We have March 3rd, which says supper meeting, Smitty's. Is everybody
Oh.
going to that?
That's part of my report.
MP.
That's,
Oh,
MP.
Our federal MP.
MP. Member.
Pearson.
that was a
Oh,
supper
right,
meeting.
Pearson,
That was
right.
just
I just
To get
thought,
to
yeah,
the-
if we can find one place that everybody's gonna be.
so what we can do is schedule it for the following meeting then. So it'll be on the,
22nd, right? 14 days
yeah.
later.
22nd. What's that?
Nor am
I
I.
don't need to be here.
I'm not there for the 22nd. But that's, I mean, you're probably gonna have to just,
No, we're no on everybody. Can we do it for the 3rd?
I'm not here on the 3rd.
what about the workshop for the watershed? Everybody gonna be here for that?
What date was that again?
29th.
Monday, yeah, next Monday.
February 29th. Watershed, 6:30.
She's got her camera sent out, so it won't be back for a week. When I talked to her tonight, or today, so it won't be back.
She's not ready now.
Should-
Yeah. Maybe what we should do is send in your schedule for council meetings for March and April. And then he can pick the ones that everybody's here.
Okay. And again, just to remind you that the meeting with our Member of Parliament, Arnold, is tentatively scheduled for March 3rd. Supper meeting at Smitty's, 6 o'clock. Between 6 and 6:30. We'll meet there. So all I'll do is I'll book a table for all the council. We've got to email into him to see how many people he's bringing along.
So that's behind the fireplace area.
Fireplace, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Vern may not be here on next Monday. We've been winning a little bit more each week. We've been buying the lottery, so we're kind of hoping that
And-
Friday is a big one.
And
Out
is
of
that,
50 million, but if we do, we'll leave the town.
Are you sure that's not the money we're putting into reserves?
are you sure that's not your retirement fund? You know, how many Canadians are banking on the lottery to retire?
Dad?
Any questions on the action list?
Councillor Padasek.
Yeah, I was wondering on page 61 is I'm just wondering about a request from Big Lakes County for the Gilwood transfer site. Do they know that we're waiting on that?
There was actually, we just received a request from them on the, what is it, water monitoring wells, the contaminants, whether there's any leachate or whatever on that site, so they must be proceeding with it, so they must be doing a bit of a study on the
Okay.
expandable part.
But I guess I'm just wondering where they had, do they know we're waiting on a formal request, or have we got back to them, or should I be saying to them that we're waiting on a formal request, or should we just be, because I know it wasn't being looked upon very favorably at the time, so should we just tell them not to bother?
We can bring that up at the next intermunicipal.
Okay, just to make sure where we're going with it. Because
Well-
otherwise it just sits there as ongoing, you either get it.
Which is another thing in my report, is that they'd canceled the Monday meeting of the intermunicipal. I think we sent the email to the 3 members that sit on it. So,
Do we have an alternative date yet?
It sounds like 10 o'clock on the 7th.
Okay.
I'll confirm hopefully tomorrow.
I had another question just on the same page, which was number 618-15. Direct administration to investigate the process of removing a bylaw and bring forth to the next regular meeting of council. And that was October 13th. So.
I believe that was Councillor Carrier at the time had brought that up.
Yep.
And I think that had to do something with the procedure bylaw, but I don't know what part that he wanted to bring back, or.
Okay, so maybe we need to address that and take, either rescind that or mark it complete if there's nothing else there.
I believe it could have been on the voting. You know, if we were going to vote for 7 councillors. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it was. So
That's
it
why
was
we gotta
basically
be clear on our
yeah.
motions, right? Because removing a bylaw to me isn't a big process. I can't remember. There's Vernon's got his hand up.
Yeah, the only other thing that I can remember was the discussions of removing and rotating chair.
Mhm.
There was discussions on that in October as well.
Okay, so would council agree that he could take that off if we don't know what it's for?
Yeah, if we
could
can't
ask him.
clarify it.
We could ask him what
Oh,
it was.
if he remembers, yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier just to look up that particular meeting and see what the motion was? 'Cause
That is the motion.
That's the entire motion
That's the
from that
entire
particular one?
motion, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm going to page 63 and number 51-16 about the Microsoft sync for February 8th on 2016. Did anybody attend? I'm curious if anybody attended. And did anybody from administration attend? Nobody. Oh, okay. No, I was just wondering what came out of that. Nothing else from me.
Long?
We're still a go for March 9th for Toko?
What time?
1 to 3.
I think that was the county's time, isn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't any set time in the last minutes, so.
I have 1 to 3 marked in my book.
I have 1 to 3,
Okay.
unless we're all going to the county.
Maybe. I'll look. I think it's on the meeting sheet I gave you guys.
Perfect, thanks.
Mark that down, Nancy.
Yeah.
For sure, it's on.
Because that's been advertised on your sign too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And good job on that. I've had lots of comments lately of people are noticing that what our special meetings are.
Yeah.
And they're liking, even though they're not coming, but they're liking to know. And we did have a few with the MLA. Anybody else have anything to say? Okay. All those in favor of accepting the report? Carried. Checklisting, page 65. Mayor Cox.
I move that council receive the check listing for council for January 13th to February 2nd, 2016 for information.
Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. 6.2, FCSS report, page 70. Motion, Councillor Long.
That council receives the January 2016 report for the FCSS for information.
Comments? All those in favor? Carried. 7, notice of upcoming meetings. Number 1, grand opening, Triangle Hall, page 73. Mayor Cox?
The council approved the attendance of Deputy Mayor Panasek to attend the grand opening of the new Triangle Hall on May 7th, 2016, to participate in the opening ceremony.
Councillor Panasek. Deputy Mayor Panasek.
Yeah, I will check my calendar here, I'm not sure. And I have a BlackBerry, so I'm a little slower than others are. What time did they want somebody there?
4 p.m.
Well, from 4.
5 p.m.
At 5.
What's the original time at 5?
Um,
And then food at 6, I believe. We'll go on that night.
I'm just trying to think, I've got a commitment, there's the Valley View Trade Show on that same day, and I'm scheduled to be manning the booth for the college on that day. And I'm not 100% sure of when that ends on that day. So can I bring that back to the next meeting and answer? I can look it up, but I just don't have the information here.
Mr. Martinson?
Or you could find another alternate subject to.
Yeah,
We could do
maybe
that.
You don't have to bring it back. If
Sure.
you can't make it.
someone else can.
somebody
Okay.
else can.
So why don't we just add an alternate to your motion if Councillor Panasek can't make it? Mayor Cox?
Yeah, who would, Councillor Long would be more than happy to attend if you can't make it.
Always the day for a party.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Carried. High Prairie Traffic Coalition, page 75. Do we have a motion? Councillor Danaka.
The council received the invitation to take part in High Prairie Traffic Safety Coalition for information.
Comments? Councillor Danaka.
The reason that I had made the motion for information is I'm not really sure, does anybody know where this generated from? What's their mandate? What are they looking for?
Councillor Long?
It's my understanding that they meet regularly, that Constable Bloom attends these meetings. And so rather than have us appoint another person to another committee and cost more taxpayers' dollars, we can have Constable Bloom incorporate in his minutes what goes on at the High Prairie Traffic Safety Coalition, or coalition, as it were, or coalition, I'm not sure. In all fairness, the letter that was sent to us has the same spelling error. So I can't fault anybody for that. But yes, so my thoughts would be that since he already attends it, have Constable Bloom, so we could go with the third motion if it suits the mover of the first motion, Councillor Danaka, that council directs and inquires any inquiries or concerns regarding traffic safety to Peace Officer Alan Bloom to be brought up at the High Prairie Traffic Safety Coalition, which he could then in turn come back and give us a response and information on. I don't think there's, I mean, I'm just looking at it from dollars and cents and an availability time for us. He's already there.
I understand where you're coming from with that. How often do they meet? Is it every month? And Alan presents to us quarterly. I guess if there's something of relevance that we should know, he could come to a meeting prior to, as opposed to.
Mr. Martinson, do you have any comments on this? Did he want somebody from council to attend with him? I know there's an invitation, but we get lots of invitations. Some of them, they may have more merit, and we don't want to discount it if you think that somebody should be there.
When I talked to Alan, he didn't believe that you needed a council rep. He said any inquiries that you had or concerns, council as a whole, could be channeled through him, and he could bring them up at the meetings and then report back to council.
Councillor Gilroy, did you have something?
I'm just wondering about the scope of this particular group, because some of the things we brought up with infrastructure actually is traffic safety. And I guess what I would like to see is if this council that they're talking about, this coalition, has any sort of teeth to it, I'd like to see Officer Bloom talk to our admin and see if they can bring up any of our concerns, that another way to help safety in our community by any projects or whatever we can get done. Leave no stone unturned.
Councillor Danaka?
We had received this, was emailed to us too, I believe, the invitation from Mr. Ellert. And I had sent everybody a reply saying, I would like to know a little bit more about what they're, like, what are they trying to do? So I had said if we could get him to present to council at a council meeting, to have a little bit more information as to what exactly this collation is meant to accomplish. So I would like to see them invited to make a presentation.
Mayor Cox?
Actually, I would agree. I think a presentation would be very helpful to us. The coalition, this Traffic Safety Coalition last year, I think in the fall, I attended a supper of the coalition that has been cobbled together on the META settlements and the reserves. And they had done a contest of drawings, and then they took the 3 winners and they made billboards of them, and they placed them at the entrances of their reserves and their META settlements. And so that is part of their educational process. So I actually would agree that a presentation would be very good. And I think one of the things that might be very helpful is if they would help us get traffic lights at KFC, because that is a major intersection that a lot of people are constantly complaining about, and either walk lights or traffic lights would be very helpful there and very safe.
Councillor Long.
As well, maybe possibly getting crosswalk lights installed at the park, at the skate park. That being said, do we need to have, I mean, their mandate is in paragraph 3, past the good morning, paragraph 2, if you want to go that way. But their mandate is to reduce collisions, injuries, and fatalities on Alberta's roadways. They do this by information, stats, educational materials, and presentations to various traffic safety topics to organizations, community groups, schools, and the public. And so that's their mandate. Having them come here would be great. I think it would be really informative. But back to the recommended action, I still wonder if we need to have another committee and another committee member, and the cost when we actually have somebody representing the town there. So I think we could do both. I think we could invite them to town council and at the same time have Alan Bloom as our representative.
Well, I think we were approving Alan, it was just whether we were approving another councillor. Is that,
Could we have the motion read back?
We only have the one motion, and it's Donna's motion that we receive it for information.
but we don't have, do we have a say on whether Alan goes? Is that what we're doing? Sorry, I'm
Alan
confused.
already goes.
Alan already
We
goes.
don't
Right.
know.
Okay, so, read me back the motion, please.
That council received the invitation to take part in the High Parade Traffic Safety Coalition for information.
And
I thought that we had a friendly amendment to that, or friendly change that said that council directs any inquiries or concerns regarding traffic safety to Peace Officer Alan Bloom to be brought up. I thought someone had suggested that. I forget who had suggested he do that instead.
no, it was discussed, but there was no friendly amendment.
Okay.
Okay, but that does not have to be done as he's already attending this, right? So this was just a request for council, which we can receive for information because we've decided that upon Mr. Martinson's suggestion that Councillor, or Alan is out already attending the meetings, and he thinks that he can bring the information back to us, right? We
And
good?
that's number 3 on the recommended actions.
We're still going to, oh, sorry, I should,
So if we want to create another position and another committee member and appoint the mayor or a councillor to the position and to that committee, so be it. I'm saying that it might not be necessary, in fact redundant, if we do that, considering we already have in action number 3, Council Bloom or Constable Bloom is attending. So I would like to see them come here, but I think that number 3 probably is our best action plan. If Councillor Danaka agrees. If not, then we can call the question and go that route.
Call the question.
Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed?
No, I'm good on the motion.
Okay. Mayor Cox.
I move that we request the Gordon Ellert to attend council and present do a presentation on the Traffic Safety Coalition of High Prairie.
Councillor Panasic.
I was just gonna say, or, maybe we could amend it to maybe Gordon can come, but a designate from the committee.
Or a representative.
Yeah.
Comments? All those in favor? Carried. Little Smoky Ski Hill. Motion. Councillor Tanaka.
The council received invitation from Municipal District of Smoky River number 130 for the Little Smoky Ski Hill visit for information.
Comments? Mayor Cox?
I believe that the Little Smoky Ski Hill is something that councillors should actually go and visit. The schools are using the ski hill extensively from High Prairie. There are people that are using it as a source of recreation, and I don't think that some members of council understand how much it is being used by the members of our community. There are doctors who have commented on the fact that they were pleasantly surprised to know that there is a ski hill within driving distance of the town of High Prairie, which would be an asset at any place to bring professionals into our community. If we don't go and look at this ski hill and spend some time actually being educated as to the benefits of the ski hill, then we probably will make the same motion that we have previously made not to fund them the $5,000 that they're asking for. But I think if we actually spent the time looking at it, we would learn to appreciate and become educated as to what are the benefits and what are we getting for our $5,000.
Anybody else? Councillor Panasic?
I can add, I do agree it is a good resource. I mean, I've spent lots of time there. I was ski patrol there for a few years, so I do know the facility and it is good. But, and I thought the same way, but I think one of the other points was we can say the exact same thing about our swimming pool, and we don't get any reimbursements from any of our neighbors to cover the costs of the swimming pool. So that is a good point. Why would we support one recreation facility and help fund it, and nobody else help support the other one? But it is a good facility, and it is something that is good in our region.
Mayor Cox?
Regarding the swimming pool, actually the attendance of people from outside we could probably ask the swimming pool to track how many people are coming from outside our municipality to use the swimming pool. And I do know that a lot of the courses that are being put on are attended by instructors in Falher, Valley View, McLennan, and other points, even Slave Lake, are coming down here and taking courses here. So the swimming pool is being used by outside people, and they are paying to use the swimming pool. So again, for the amount of money that the Big Lakes County, the MD of Smoky, and the municipalities surrounding that are placing into that organization, I really think we need to visit it and actually talk to the operators and see what it is that they are doing out there.
I agree with you, Mayor Cox. I do think that we've had this conversation in the past about whether we're going to support the ski hill or not. I think that you're correct. I mean, I've worked in the real estate industry for a number of years. We see a lot of new people coming in the area, and they do look at things like the swimming pool, but the ski hill is definitely another asset to the area. And I think that it is funded by a lot of the municipalities surrounding. It's a joint venture. But I also agree that our pool could be and should be a joint venture, but that's another topic. But we should actually, I think it's a good idea to collaborate, because I do think that when we talked to our MLA, that was a big factor. You know, the more collaborations, the more working together with other municipalities you have when you go forward with anything, that's supported better. So instead of us just saying, okay, we'll look after our pool, you guys look after your ski hill, we may be better to make more relationships like we have with Little Smoky. So I would sort of support having council have the opportunity to go out to Little Smoky and have an opportunity to see the ski hill and see what they do out there. Councillor Gilroy.
I was just reading their letter, and March 11th is a PD day for HPE, so I probably will go with that. And I've heard great things, but it was interesting that maybe if you're going to look at support for it in the future, maybe we could continue looking at that in kind. support as opposed to financial support, like we're doing with Threshermans and others that are, because our local people, when they go there, just like people who come for the pool, they pay out of their own pocket. And so my suggestion is if the council has trouble with the $5,000, maybe we could work out some sort of in-kind or in, however you put it before, that we don't have to pay the cash, but we can support them in other ways to encourage people to go there.
Any other comments?
I have one. The recommended action talks about March 2nd or March 11th. But the letter talks about March, where does it say it?
Second or third.
Or 3rd at the top in the background.
And the letter says the 11th. Should have been.
Is it the 11th? Oh, okay, 11th.
The letter does say March 2nd or 11th. So those are the options. So as okay, so the motion is to receive it for information. All those in favor? Opposed? Do we have another motion? Councillor Long?
That council approve the attendance of any council wishing to take part in the Little Springview Hill visit on March 2nd or March 11th, 2016.
Comments? Councillor Long?
I believe that the mayor and yourself are correct in that in order to make an informed decision, people should go out and see what's out there and what it has to offer. I've seen it a few times, and as much as I like the facility, I still believe that we did the right thing in our initial discussions in not funding it and possibly holding that money back. And now that we're going quarterly on our grants, that money might be available for a more local organization for funding and helping them out.
Any other comments? All those in favor? Carried. Opposed, sorry. Do I want to vote the opposed?
I forgot what we were voting on.
You're good?
Oh.
Do you want clarity on any of
No,
that?
I
We're
just
good?
remembered what it was.
Okay, sorry, it's getting late.
In favor. Okay, are we on to reports then?
Okay, written and verbal reports. Mayor Cox.
You have my written report from February 3rd to February 16th. And if there are no questions on it, I move my report for information.
Questions? Of course, Councillor Panasic.
Just one comment, and it follows up on what you were mentioning before with the rec board, is I know I've talked with the Slave Lake Pool personnel, and they say that the working relationships between our pool and their pool still isn't very strong, although there may be some. There could be more working together, and probably the same thing with the Peace River pool, but I don't know that. And I'd just like to continue to push that as the rec board, or maybe bring it forward to work with them. And because I know that we've ran courses with very few numbers, and they've ran courses, the similar course on similar time frames with very few numbers, and if they could work together, they could probably make those courses more viable and, you know, market and promote each other's offerings, stagger offerings of this life-saving course now, the Bronze Cross on this weekend, and the medallion somewhere else, and get everybody coming together and save some of those money. Might be beneficial on those kinds of things.
Certainly something to take back, because the facility manager, Ginger Peterson, is extremely interested in making sure that the course program is disseminated to all the communities she could possibly think of. So I will make sure at the rec board that she's aware that Slave Lake is possibly interested in partnering with us in some courses.
Any other questions? All those in favor accepting the report? Carried. Councillor Danaka.
I just have a short little report. Only attended one meeting. It was a special meeting called by the library chair, Simone Baha, regarding the plan of service. Needs assessment workshop scheduled for March 16th. The meeting was called to decide on location and menu, as there was some miscommunications regarding cost and location. By majority, the plan of service needs assessment workshop will be hosted at the library. The board will supply the food. The workshop will be facilitated by Angela Murphy. A list was compiled at this meeting of agencies that will be sent an invitation and when they need to respond by. That's my report. I move for information.
Questions? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Donna. Councillor Gilroy.
As with Donna, other than the extra meetings we were called to, normal council meetings, workshops, stuff like that, I was at the Municipal Planning Committee meeting, and I believe that everyone received a services form in their mailbox. That was partly because we were asking a few extra questions. I was very thankful that Councillor Long was there, because I would have been the only rookie there, and it was good to do. I just took a couple brief notes there. It was interesting, the 8 guiding principles he had put down there. Some of them seemed rather straightforward. He got about 100 people, I believe, 100 responses, and his guiding principles were things like embrace the small town. People wanted to embrace the small town mentality, but at the same time, they wanted to promote commercial business. They wanted an informed and engaged community, things that I think we're pretty much already doing. They encourage employment opportunities. Very positive about the culture of recreation and activity leisure. Providing affordable housing options, and he kept pointing out Heart River, a diverse economy, livable community, simple things that I think we already, for me it was nothing new. I'm not saying anything bad about it. It would have been nice to have his new PowerPoint that he didn't have for us. But it looks as though he is very open to working alongside whatever council wants to develop. He gave a couple suggestions on land use, but it's still very much in the initial stages. Would have been nice to have Mr. Wakel there, or someone who had been on a lot more of these to help clarify a few of my questions. But I think this was because of some of my questions.
Any questions? You move your report as presented.
I'll move my report as spoken. See, I'm in there now.
All those in favor? Councillor Long. Thank you.
I attended the meeting with Councillor Gilroy. Attended the meeting with Councillor Gilroy, and it was interesting. It'll be interesting to see where Mackenzie takes it. It's got lots of potential, but again, it's in its initial stages, so that will come. Attended the Watershed Council meeting. For everybody's entertainment and knowledge, there's a problem with people dumping their poop and peeing in the ice fishing holes on the lake. There's a on average around 400 shacks on Lesser Slave Lake. There are areas in the lake where fecal and E. coli levels are very high. And that only comes from people contaminating the water with their feces. So for all of those who recreate on the lake, remember, you are what you eat. And so the fish themselves have high E. coli levels and fecal contamination. And so as people throw their waste into the lake thinking it's not a big deal, it is A, against the law, B, it's extremely hazardous to the health of the lake, increasing phosphorus levels, E. coli levels, fecal contamination levels, and your kids are going to swim in that lake in the summer. So what are you thinking? It has to stop, and people have to start conducting themselves better out in the lake, and as long as that message, as long as the actions continue to happen, then the message has to be brought forward in a very clear way, and stop crapping in the lake, period, and take it out with you, pack it with you, put it in a bucket, fill the bucket with sawdust, and take it back and throw it out in a safe manner. It's disgusting, but that was the big issue. There's all sorts of courses coming up, and Megan Payne is doing a phenomenal job. I don't think I've seen anybody as dedicated to education, and certainly environmental education, as she has done. So keep up the good work, Megan, and that concludes my crappy report. I put it forward. That's it, I'm done.
Questions? Councillor Gilroy.
Of course you would. Please.
I was just going to ask, did they say anything about how the ministry is trying to combat it? Are they putting extra portable potties out there during winter time so that people don't have to, is it a possibility, or is the ice too thin?
It wouldn't be that it's too thin, but if you put porta potties out there, if you've seen the lake and watched ice shacks that weigh a ton slide down the lake from the wind, that would be one concern. I could imagine somebody getting tipped over. That would be another concern, probably. Cleaning them out would be another issue. Having to get a vac truck out in the ice would be dangerous. So education is the best method. Common sense is another one, that, and a desire to be good conservationists. People who fish and hunt, we're conservationists at heart. We want the fishery to be healthy. We want to have that opportunity to fish and hunt decades down the road for our kids and our grandkids. So when actions like this occur, it's just a matter of really coming back with a strong education and a message saying, what are you thinking? Why would you consider this somehow a healthy thing? And when we have blue algae blossoming all over the place in the summertime, we can go back to the winter and say, that's a part of the problem.
I would concur with the cleaning, because you're already on ice and everything would freeze within the porta potty.
There's portable toilets you can buy that are 10-gallon buckets with a toilet seat and a lid, and you can buy them at any store and take them out on the ice with you. It's not going in the lake is just not in any way safe for anybody.
Councillor Panasic?
Yeah, I agree, and I mean, we have the 10-gallon bucket system in our ice shack. But just going to your question a little bit, one of the things that I think wouldn't hurt is they developed a Protect the Lake group around Sylvan Lake, and every ice shack has to be registered. And they register it, and there's a number on it, so they know what's going on. So if they see things going on, they know what number it is. They can address that, and you know, as an ice fisherman, I would have no problem with that, of tracking it, because you see some of these have garbage lying outside, they don't keep it clean, so something like that might be a good step, and if it gets bad enough out there, that's something like that will come.
Very good.
So I move my report.
All those in favor? Carried. Councillor Panasic.
Nothing to report. I only had one meeting, well, other than our regular special meetings of council. There was a Heart River Housing meeting that was canceled. They did not, we're not going to get quorum as a result of the Growing the North Conference. It was on that Thursday and enough people were gone, and the other councillors that were to attend, so we canceled that, so nothing to report. I move that non-report for information.
Questions? All those in favor? And you guys have got my written report. Further to what's down here, the Chamber of Commerce has just interviewed for an executive director position, and that will be chosen within the week, and they hope to have a grand opening by the middle of March. They're very grateful and thankful for the opportunity that the town gave them with the space, and it's looking like that's all moving forward really well. The only other thing I'll mention is there is this Business Opportunity and Tourism Entrepreneurship Seminar that LSLEA is putting on. We didn't get it in time to put it on our agenda, just to sort of take a look at it and see if anybody was interested, but it is on the 8th of March. I'll pass these out so everybody can have, you can just pass them down, I'll just take one. Now, I reported on it before, and the list of presenters was given. That's here again, but it is with Alberta Tourism, Travel Alberta. There's it'll be a good opportunity to, one, for council, that if they were interested in attending, two, to pass on to other businesses, or especially tourism-based businesses, because we are getting all these people coming in for the day. Great opportunity for them to get some of this information. There is a real tourism opportunity in our area, and we're not really taking advantage of it. We're seeing, again, a tourism office opening up in Slave Lake, or is open in Slave Lake. We don't have a tourism office this end of the lake. Maybe nice to consider, considering what Danielle said the other day, where there's some initiatives for tourism. There's maybe some dollars in the earmarked for promoting. Like she said, why aren't we promoting this end of the lake? This is a very good opportunity to maybe find out a little bit about that. I met with, I went to the Growing the North conference, and I'll report on that for the next council meeting, but I met with Don Wilson from Travel Alberta, and another fellow. Anyway, and one of them, is Don going to be here? Yep. Yeah. Okay, Don's good. So he's going to be here, and he's encouraging council to come if we are interested in some sort of tourism opportunity here, even if it wasn't a tourism office per se. That we chatted about dollars that are available with partnerships with Tourism Alberta in marketing your communities and in building a tourism brand. So it's something more that we could explore, but this might be a great opportunity to go meet with the people that can help us out. Does anybody have any interest in attending? Do we want to make a motion and see if it can be supported by council, or it's just that we didn't have time to put it on the agenda?
Well, I'll certainly be able to attend during probably at least the lunch hour part of that. I don't know if I'd be able to attend the whole, but I'd be interested to see.
Well, I'd like to can I make a motion? After your report. After my report, okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, I move my report for information. All those in favor? Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we allow any council that is able to or interested in attending this tourism entrepreneurial seminar on March 8th, 2016. It goes between 9:30 and 3:30 p.m. But I imagine any amount of time would be great. If you could come for noon or a few hours, that would be.
So we're looking at the same wording as, what was the honorarium one that you had made?
What's wrong with that wording?
It doesn't speak to the honorarium.
I didn't hear any of them tonight speak to the honorarium.
Yeah, that one did, because that's the wording that would,
That's Triangle Hall, the one that you were talking about?
Yeah,
do you have it, do you have one of those wordings there?
No.
I mean, if somebody's taking time off work and they're attending, then again, it's a function of council and it's also an educational component of council. And it's business marketing for the town. So I would expect that if people are going to go, they should have that right to have their honorarium.
That's why it should be in the motion.
But I think that we did discuss this a little while ago, and we had suggested to administration that not to always bring back with honorarium. If it's approved at council, it's an approved activity. It doesn't have to be with honorarium. If we didn't want it to say with honorarium, we will say without. I thought that was sort of the decision that we had made more just in conversation. But instead of having to approve each one, if it's an approved meeting, or if it's an approved workshop, or if it's an approved educational opportunity, then it's just approved. And if it's something that council felt it was approved but without honorarium, we would stipulate that.
I think you're gonna get into motions that are, but I leave it to council to decide.
Well, I'm confused, because didn't we approve activities without honorarium tonight then? So everything we approved tonight was no honorarium? So the
If-
Pioneer Threshermen's Association speaking?
If councillor chooses
Did it
to
say
attend,
Yeah.
he can charge an honorarium. If he says that that would be part of his councillor fee, and then he doesn't charge it. But that decision is left to councillor Panasic. Long, yes, I'm sorry. But, yeah, at least that's the way I've always taken it, is, when I go to these grand openings or whatever, I don't charge honorarium. I consider that part of being the mayor and being invited. So even if I am approved the honorarium, I don't charge, because that's part of being the mayor.
So you're more comfortable with them saying with honorarium?
I think it's up to the councillor
Okay.
or each one to
Councillor Long,
decide.
how do you want the,
It's your motion.
well, it's my motion.
My motion, yeah.
It's my
And
motion.
so I would say that, for clarification's sake, honorarium should be included.
Okay, we're good. You got that?
I don't have it all, but,
Just that we're gonna approve the attendance of any
Yeah.
council member with honorarium.
okay.
Any more questions, comments, or should we vote? Councillor Gilroy.
I think it's actually a really good thing. I would probably suggest that we also, if you're going to contact other people, those who are going to be on the Sesquicentennial Committee, because you're talking about marketing the town, it gives them something to deal with, to at least starting with, if we're going to look at any promotional items or things like that, because you talk about branding. So I think it's an awesome opportunity. Thank you for bringing it to us.
And remember, the Sesquicentennial Committee has a budget for this type of thing,
Yes.
for their members.
So we can maybe invite the members at large? Is that where you were going?
That would be up to the committee to decide.
Okay, any more questions? Comments? Okay, all those in favor? Brian, you look concerned.
Not concerned, no.
Okay,
So for those that are going, please remember to register at Eventbrite because we need the numbers for the lunch order. That's why we're doing it this way. And actually, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how this works because the problem in High Prairie is that people don't tell you you're going to go to something until the very day that, and it's a nightmare trying to figure out how many should we order, how many chairs to set out, how many lunches, whatever. So we're going to try this Eventbrite, and you have to pre-order your ticket. It's free, but you have to register. So.
You don't have a break.
Well, that's true. Register. Space is limited. I've only set up 40 tickets. So, first 40 people. And I might open it up to another 10. But we did this in Athabasca, and it really worked well. We had 70 people register. So.
do we want to, we need a motion to go into camera first?
We'll take the break and then do it last.
Last time we did it, yeah, okay, you guys are
I made the motion.
hurting my head.
Done.
Wait till
Done.
after we